All right.
Da 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 da. Cut that part out.
Welcome back to live from the Chateau.
Yeah. Welcome back, bro. I'm in a funky mood right
You're in
now.
a funky mood.
I don't know what's up with it. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm like wow.
Wah. Yeah. It's that homeschooler coming out of you.
I don't know what it is. It's something. So we got a couple topics that we want to talk about today. I want to go ahead and preface this by saying, once again, we are idiots.
Yes.
We don't know anything.
Yes.
Everything that you hear here on this podcast, not just this episode, every day that you may listen to this or hear this, we're morons.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know anything for a fact. We just like to talk about it and be like, oh, that'd be cool if it was real.
Yeah.
Also, we don't really have, like, hard opinions on things.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that we're pretty, like, lenient. Like,
yeah, like if I'm so okay with, like, facts coming out that prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Or, like,
absolutely.
make it to where something that I thought would be cool just is never going to happen. Like, I'm very open to... I don't know. I don't hold on to much, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%. Like if I'm having a conversation with people and I'm like, oh, well, did you know that so and so and this happened, and then they're like, actually this. Like I'm not like, oh, you're an idiot, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no way. I'm like,
yeah, and also
cool.
I feel like that's just. I feel like that's how everybody should be. I don't understand
You would
why
expect humans to be like that.
I think that might be. I think that might be because of Google. The reason we think like that. Because I've noticed my parents don't think like that. They find something out, and it's like they can't just either research it more, or maybe they were just so used to word of mouth being like their only source of information.
It's like
or something.
that conversation we had the other day about where I was like, you were talking about like the Land Rover Defender.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've kind of heard that like Land Rover is like a bad car, and you were like, my dad has had like over the past like 20 years, he's had like 3.
Yeah.
Like, and they're awesome.
And he kind of has his choice of cars.
Yeah. And like, and like he could probably get whatever he wants, and he always chooses a Land Rover. And then I started like looking into it, and it turns out that when my parents were growing up, Land Rover came out with like 3 cars that were horrible. Like they didn't do that well. And so now, 23 years later, my parents are like, "Oh, Land Rover's a garbage car. You'll hate it. It'll break down on day 1." And I'm like, it's just because of what you thought for a minute.
Yeah.
20 years. Like, so
I think in a weird way, like people's mentality towards that has probably changed to a certain degree. Like I feel like people that grew up with Google and internet, it actually probably has gotten to where it's dangerous. How everybody immediately switches their mind and immediately gets on trends.
That's true. There's definitely a downside to it,
but
for sure.
Hopefully we'll get to the point where we're more open-minded.
Yeah,
but,
you think so?
Do you want me to start out?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so breaking news. We're going to talk about some weird, weird stuff today.
Yeah. First of all, let's take. Do you do you believe that there are aliens here?
Here or like in our universe?
In our universe, like in the Milky Way galaxy, do you think there are aliens wandering around? This is such a loaded question.
It is a very loaded question. Because also, it's weird to think that when we view things, we wouldn't know the sun wouldn't... Like, if the sun went out, we wouldn't know for, 8 days.
Yeah.
And that happens, in distant galaxies. I mean, what we're looking at is not really, current time.
Yeah.
So, I just think we're very unaware. And if the universe is almost endless, it's weird to think that we've only observed not even 1% of it.
That's the other thing. It's also weird to think that if you ever watch that video where it shows Earth,
yeah,
and then it zooms out and it's this is your galaxy, and then it zooms out and it's this is your nebula, and then it zooms out and it's this is your it's D3-0111111, and then it zooms out again and again and again.
Yeah.
And it's we could zoom out 98 more times,
dude,
and it would still have existence. I think it's a little bit cocky.
Yeah,
to think
that's what it is.
To think that it's nah, only us, right there, blue green planet, right there, only us,
yeah,
just me.
Yeah, it's a weird like arrogance thing. Like it wants to make it. It's like people's weird subconscious trying to make them feel special or something. I don't know what like why you think we're the only. I'm just open. I'm open to whatever.
Yeah.
If it's only us, great. I just don't really think that.
I mean, both of us. I feel like if we would literally, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't, but I know me and you. If tomorrow the Pentagon was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, here's like footage of President Biden meeting aliens," and like they were walking around like shaking hands, I would literally just be like,
"Finally,
cool."
I would be more like finally y'all admitted it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, I mean, we kind of knew, but like it was funny that y'all thought we were idiots for that long.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, they do a lot of stuff like that. That's like they. I mean, this is like a horrible, like a weird example, but like the whole like Jeffrey Epstein like killing himself thing, and then they were just like, yeah, he killed himself, and we were like, he clearly didn't.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, he did. And we're
also like, I know these are a lot of weird controversies, but I don't know why they're controversies. Like like when the first 4 or 5 weeks, it was just common knowledge that the virus came from that lab in Wuhan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now it's like controversial to say that or something?
Well, it's funny because it goes back and forth. In the very beginning, it was like, oh yeah, Corona came from this one lab. Also, I found this out the other day. Did you know that Wuhan is like, somebody said that Wuhan is China's Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very like rubbish.
Like it's
very very like hard living.
Yeah, I didn't know you were English because you said rubbish, but that's I'm like Wuhan's Detroit. You're like, he was rubbish in it, man. He's got no Nando's and nothing in it. You just go, he's there. It's Tuesday, isn't it?
I didn't mean to.
That's my favorite British thing is it's Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Yeah.
No,
but
I think it's funny because Wuhan was literally like it's not. This is not like you can. This is not. I know we're idiots and we like say a lot of this is not factual. But I mean, I can look it up right now. Wuhan, the lab was testing, was creating like COVID viruses to make vaccines.
Yeah.
To be prepared for an outbreak.
I also think
which that's also very responsible.
Yeah, that's normal. But a big part of it also was just Trump. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't handle it well
or say it the right way. Where he literally came out and he was like, "It's the China virus."
Yeah, it's like okay, you didn't have to.
It's from China, but like it wasn't.
Yeah,
the way he was saying it made it sound like
their race
Chinese
was
people are evil and they were like a biological weapon. I was like, which here's the crazy thing. I don't even know if he thinks that. He just says stuff.
No, yeah. And people run with it. People think that like he was like saying that it was a biological weapon. I don't think he ever said that.
Yeah, no.
It's just people ran with it. Republicans just think that like
he just started talking and people were like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This is fuel.
Yeah.
This is fuel.
Which is so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But yeah, like that's a controversy and that's something that is easily provable. And I feel like that'll eventually happen. With aliens.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, it was kind of a thing for a while, then blah, blah.
I just like how they released actual footage of UFOs.
Oh, yeah. That was so weird. So one of the reasons that I was listening to another podcast the other day where there was like a very, very big, well-renowned guy talking about all this kind of stuff. And he was saying that the reason they did that was because if you release the information, you control the information.
Oh, for sure.
Like if you release it, then you're okay, this is what's out there, and this is what we know is out there. Of course, the bad part of it, or the unknown variable, I guess you could say, is the random people. Like people that, like he said, the guy was talking about like there are like fighter pilots in the Air Force and the Navy and stuff like that who have like videos and pictures on their phones when they're flying.
Yeah,
they're like, what is that? They can't control that stuff to release.
Or like I see what you're saying.
Also, I found this out. Did you know that a UFO is now also called a UAP?
What does it
Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. I was like, do y'all just like acronyms? Like y'all
why are you changing it?
Yeah, like what?
They probably just want to change it to sound like more official.
Yeah, I guess. An unidentified flying object. unidentified area. That's literally like English and like British people.
Yeah, it's
like,
just synonyms.
It's like we saw an unidentified flying object, and it's like we saw an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
It's just synonyms.
Yeah, literally. Like, what's wrong with you? That's what our tax money's going towards, by the way, is them figuring out new synonyms for words. They're
literally,
like, we got it.
I just think it's funny the footage that was released. You can hear the pilots talking about it.
Yeah,
and they're like, it's very clearly like metal. They're like, it's flying across. Like, they're like, about to lose it. Like, I'm about to lose it on my camera. Like, they're like, and they're going as fast as they can.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest instances has been the David Fravor thing, where he was in the Navy and he was on the ship, and they said that they saw a Tic Tac shaped object.
Oh yeah,
on radar go from 8,000 feet above sea level to hovering right above the water in like the time it takes for radar to go beep, beep.
Yeah.
In between those beeps is when it did that, which I think they calculated out and said that it would have had to been going like. I don't know. It said that the speed that it needed to go, it would have produced at least one sonic boom, and it didn't.
Oh, weird.
That's the other weird thing is that with all these like alien ships and stuff, they don't have any like with our jets. There's very clearly like a propulsion system.
Yeah.
There's like
oh
streaks
yeah
coming out of the
there's
bag.
like theories it's like anti-gravity or something.
Yeah, like they just don't leave any streak. They don't have any form of propulsion that you can see,
and they just move it in ways that you're just like, that doesn't even make sense.
It'll be like like it'll just move like backwards forwards, which I mean, it's so funny too because like that's how I would imagine an alien ship would move. Like,
and also, why do I imagine that?
Yeah, for all.
I think one of the cool things about the ones being released was that like, I don't know. It's weird hearing like an ordinary pilot describe what he's seeing.
Yeah. See, that's what I like. See, but also it's weird though because sometimes you'll get a video of like there's like this woman in Kansas that they reported on because her like the front part of her house like caught on fire, but it like the pattern when they doused it, the flame was in streaks that were like this, like it was like a fanned out streak. And her kids said that they saw like a ship in the sky. They were like, "Mom, like we saw a ship in the sky," and like you hear Air Force people talk about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not 100% sure what it was." It was moving at a speed of blah, and they like say all this like technical stuff. But then on the other side of it, you get this woman who was like, there was a saucer in the air.
Yeah.
It had a bubble. I saw the men inside.
Yeah.
I saw them. They shot my children.
Yeah.
They tried to kill my babies. I'm like, this is why we'll never get anywhere.
Yeah.
Is because you're allowed to talk and you're allowed to talk.
That's true. No, I never even thought about it like that. It just discredits it. Just makes it like, yeah.
Because even if she did, that's the other thing. A lot of these people, when they see things, I mean, I can't tell you how many times like I've been like driving or like you think you see something, but you don't, or also when you're panicked, when you're freaking out, you don't really know what you see. You could be seeing anything.
As a kid, I did that all the time. I would be panicked and be like, "What is that?" Or a lot of times, actually, when I was a kid, I would go hunting with my dad, and I would see like if he sat in one stand, I sat in a different stand, and it would got like dusk. If it ever got dusk, I would start seeing like figures, like shadows, and I would get really freaked out because I'm like, is that like a coyote or what is that? But then it would just be like a tree or a shrub.
Oh yeah.
I think that a lot of shadows like play with people's minds. But one thing that I think is interesting is called the Phoenix Lights. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
So in like let me fact this real quick. But it was a widespread phenomenon, where like thousands of people reported this. Let me just make sure this is right.
Have you ever had any sort of like, this is a weird question, but like, have you ever had any sort of UFO experience where like you think you've seen one or you think you've seen something weird like in the sky?
I actually don't think so.
I have not.
I have not.
I
not even once remotely.
And even if I did see something, immediately my mind would have gone Air Force.
Yeah.
I'd have been like doing a flying or a
seriously.
plane or something.
So it happened in 1997, March 13th. And I want to see if I can find the amount of people that reported it. But it was the one where like it looks like a huge. Everybody reported seeing like 6 or 7 lights and like these huge lights, and it was connected to like a triangle ship, and they all reported it. They all called like the Phoenix, like called 911, and like all of them around the same time called and were like, "Hey, there's some weird lights in the sky, and there's like a ship above us. We don't know what's going on."
God, I'd pay so much money to hear those calls.
Dude, I would.
Just the people of Phoenix, Arizona, I can just hear them calling it, "It's Korea."
Yeah.
Korea's here.
Seen by thousands of people between 7. This is Wikipedia. I know it's edited, but it can be edited by anybody. But thousands of people between 7:30 and 10:30 in a space about 300 miles. So like in a space about 300 miles in that specific area between 7:30 and 10:30, thousands of people were like, That's a long time. This is in the newspaper. This is not a picture, but this is like a description of what it was. And like everyone described that. Everyone described the lights, and then like half the people said, yeah, it was like connected to like some ship. People thought we were at war. People like they were calling in.
That's what I was saying.
They thought that like something was about to happen.
How much of this stuff do you think is because there's also that thing about what the military has and what we know the military has. There's like a 12-year gap or something like that. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, between what we know and what the military knows.
Yeah, what they released to us.
Yeah,
didn't they like the what was that jet?
I love this story. That
they debuted it and then
retired it. Like it was almost a joke because it was the bomber, the triangle bomber that everyone knows about.
Yeah,
they debuted it and they're like, we're not going to use this anymore. And they were like at the public presentation, they're like, what? They're like, yeah, you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, hold on. So you invented it at some point, used it for so long that you're already done with it? Like you're already done with that model and on to new things? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I like to think that like maybe some of the stuff that we see that's like, oh, like that's insane. Like something like that could very well be like a very advanced Air Force plane.
Well, yeah, like the Phoenix lights, here's like an actual picture of it. They actually captured pictures of it. Like it's like a skyline and then above it is the lights.
That's so big.
Yeah. That's the other thing is people don't really think this is a military thing. They thought
that looks like the plane from like Captain America. That like the dude.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's huge.
Yeah, it does.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, also here's the other thing. Everything that the military creates is for a function. Like everything the military creates would do something. Why would the military need what looks like a 200-yard wide airplane for what? Like why would the wings need to be that big? They have Hercules carriers that can carry like 3 tanks.
Yeah.
That are
literally
big
says
enough.
It was a boomerang shaped object fly over a certain mountain and saying it was at least a mile wide. And people described it like it didn't feel like it was from this planet. A lot of people think that it was. It also was totally silent.
That's weird. But also, I will say, have you ever like sat like I know that we get them here sometimes where we live because like through Florida and Georgia, like Fort Benning and then Fort Lauderdale, like we're at a cross path between like where airplanes will fly over sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever been like sitting when one of those like Hercules big planes flies over us? It's so weird that something that big, you don't hear it until it's right there.
Yeah,
like right above you, and then it goes.
Yeah,
and then just fades back out of nothing.
Yeah,
and you're like,
well, supposedly this didn't make a sound at all.
Unsettling. Yeah, that's weird. Also, it's just so big. Why would it need?
There's weird theories. None of these I really believe. I don't really know what the heck it was. I honestly think there might have been a chance. There's been multiple instances of like videos of. Have you heard of ball lightning?
No, never.
It's either called ball lightning or orb lightning. Let me just make sure. So it's basically during like a very just what's like the. Not an active storm, but it's like when it has chance for more lightning. I forget what it's called. Yeah, it's called ball lightning. So it can like come down and like floats around. So like a ball of like lightning will just like float around. And like people think that that has a lot to do with like with sightings, especially if the sighting is like, oh, it's a bright ship. Like the lightning will come down in a ball and just proceed to float around just randomly. And that's a natural phenomenon that we've observed.
Seems pretty convenient to me.
Well, no, I mean like we've observed this.
That's also so weird. Like, what
times.
the crap is this planet?
Yeah, like there's one.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, if I saw that,
There's another one, and it just starts floating. Let me see if I can find a video of it, but I don't know. Yeah, so I mean that it could be that.
if I saw that, I'd shoot at it.
The Phoenix Lights could be that to me. It could be multiple of them just randomly, but I don't know. A lot of people, like over 1,000 people, were like, "Yeah, it's a ship. Are we at war?" Like they were more worried about "Are we at war?" than they were like,
is it alien?
Like they were so confident that like there's a ship above us. Like, do we need to leave? Like that's why they were calling 911. Like it's one of the only UFO events where
Imagine going to war and they attack Arizona first.
I don't know, but a lot of people
Like,
think
what if the Germans think that that's like our biggest like state? Is it like, we have heard of this place called Phoenix, Arizona. We shall attack it with all the troops we have. We must capture Arizona. And then there's like one guy on TikTok, and he's like, Commander, I really think that California or New York would be better to attack.
No, Phoenix.
No, Phoenix, Arizona, Heinberg. No, like, I mean, that's so weird.
A lot of people think it's
Arizona's so cocky. They're like, are we at war?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is people think it was Nazis. People think it's like this weird, and that actually might be a segue into my next alien thing. People still think Nazis are around. Have you heard of the whole thing where
They are, right?
Okay, not like the ones that
you
like
don't mean like a neo-Nazi.
no, like no, I mean like there's reports of after the World War of like thousands of Nazis like escaping to South America and like hiding and setting up camp somewhere.
That would be the place to go.
And I want to start with like the facts, like the things that I know. There are instances where they have said that like we know that we didn't catch them all. Like there is actual like I wouldn't say fact, but military reports of like they escaped somewhere and a certain amount.
This many were reported. This is how many we got.
Yeah,
exactly. This is the gray area.
Yeah, and we didn't find a mass thing of bodies. Nobody like massively off themselves, but it's just like another thing is they think they went to South America. They also think they went to Antarctica. And the weird thing about Antarctica, I actually this is just coming back to me. I gotta look it up. But Nazi like Germany, Hitler went to Antarctica at one point and like did an expedition because he thought he was also. I don't know if you know much about Hitler. Hitler was very into like Middle Earth. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Middle Earth? Mm-hmm. Like believing that there's like worlds inside our world. Mm-hmm. He thought that Antarctica was the entrance.
Well, have you also heard that like I know somebody said this one time, but they were like there's more going on, which we just talked about this the other day, but like there's more going on in the ocean than there is in space.
Yes.
That we might need to look for. Also, did you hear about this the other day that they like went digging through the Earth's crust and they found like 4 oceans?
They did like some type of scan.
Yeah.
And like beneath the Earth's crust is like 1,000 times more oceans.
Yeah, and like another like other like country like masses of land.
Yeah,
obviously they're
underground.
Rock,
yeah,
but, you know, that's still. I mean, to think that right now, if I just started digging, and I might pop out into something like just another freaking country. Like what?
Yeah. So, like before World War II, like right before, they went to Antarctica and like just had an expedition with Hitler and like a bunch of military people.
That's weird.
Just very, very random. And like I think they call it New Swabia is what I'm reading. They think that's
kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie.
And like there's a bunch of like theories about that. But if I can find it, we sent an expedition down there. The U.S. like years later, after the war, after everything, we sent an expedition down there. And Jake, they lost like hundreds of soldiers.
In Antarctica?
They went to Antarctica and they said, oh, yeah, it was just starvation and like we ran into a couple icebergs. They lost like multiple ships and multiple men. I got to find it. Here, stall for me.
Stall?
Yeah, stall for me because I'm trying to find this.
Okay, guys. Today's sponsors are Athletic Greens. Just one scoop of AG1 a day in a cup of water is all it takes. Literally, guys, my life was so garbage before Athletic Greens. This is a true story, 100% fact. The other day, I was riding my bicycle through the streets of Brooklyn, and I hadn't taken AG1 that day, and I stopped immediately, and I was like, I got to take my AG1. Put it in a cup of water, drank it real quick, bam. Saw a woman getting mugged for her purse. And you know what I did? I chased him on foot. I should mention, he was in a car. He was in a Ferrari 458. I caught him on foot and grabbed his car and spun it around. And that's all because of AG1. Guys, right now, use the promo code Chateau for 25% off and free shipping. They're also offering a lifetime supply, guys. Lifetime supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs if you use the code Chateau at checkout for AG1.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, for sure.
That's scary, honestly. Okay, it's called Operation Highjump. Okay, they sent.
Who comes up with these names?
I don't know. They sent 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft to Antarctica.
Jesus Christ! What? Oh my God.
Yeah, and so they were determining, establishing, and maintaining bases in Antarctica and investigating possible base sites. The reason that's bullcrap is because we've never done military.
Okay, I was about to say, there's bases.
We've done research. Yeah, there is. We have an Antarctic base. Yeah, but it's like a research base. Like the only thing we've ever done other than that is send like 1 or 2, maybe 3 ships that are like research. This is military. Like we sent military down there. Okay?
See, this is why I don't trust anything about like when it comes to aliens is the way literally, honestly, you know what it is? Whatever the government says, I'm always like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I want to find the casualties cuz to me that's the biggest thing. Yeah, they sent 13 ships, 23 aircraft, 4,700 men. God, where is it?
Do I need to stall again?
No.
Okay. I have another ad in my head.
They I cannot find it. It's probably because it's like trying to say it's like a conspiracy, I guess. I don't know, maybe. But a lot of people died. Basically, and they didn't.
And this was looking for
the people think they were looking for because this was after the end of the war. So like it was after the end of the war. After that, there was like theories and like rumors about them escaping to Antarctica, and they went down there with military personnel and came back losing a lot. And like they were just like, oh, we didn't find anything. It's like we didn't like they didn't do anything. They didn't like, and it was just like, what?
They didn't.
Exactly. Exactly.
They come back with 3/4 of their forces gone, no ammo, like no bullets. Yeah. Their tanks have like giant gashes in them. They're like, we didn't find anything. There was nothing there. There's nothing in Antarctica. Don't go back down. Don't look again. There's nothing there.
Oh, well, I mean, if there's nothing there, maybe you need to look again. They're like, God, no.
They're like, Commander, we're setting up another expedition. We need you.
Kill that man!
Yeah. He literally just pulls his gun out. He's like, he's like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting one, but.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. I mean, also, like, didn't Hitler do that weird thing where, like, he went on he went looking for the spear that they stabbed Jesus with? Is that not a thing?
Oh, yeah, he was obsessed with Jesus.
He did some sort of weird... Dude, he was, I mean, obviously.
Obviously.
Strange fella.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, he definitely... And also, there have been so many, like, movies, comic book, TV show, not TV shows, but, like, ideas that Hitler had made some sort of, like, alien contact or something like that. I mean, the entire, like...
Captain America 1 is, like, based off of that.
Yeah, Captain America is
based off of, like, some secret power that they found.
Yeah. Yeah, when they were, I can picture Stanley writing that and him being like, "This dude's insane. He would have done this." But like, they also made like Hellboy, like that TV show. That's based on Hitler trying to contact like the undead and bringing Hellboy out of a different dimension. Like that, we wrote so much stuff about him because we were like, "Yeah, this dude's insane."
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. The whole thing with aliens is if they're what's that thing that people say when they're like, in the universe, we're either not alone, we are the only ones, or we are 100%. There's so many more civilizations of people, aliens or humans, whatever you want to call us, and both of those are equally as frightening. That we are the only people, or we are definitely not, and there's a ton. Like, there's no in between. Like, it's not like, oh, there's one other civilization. No, there's a lot.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if we're not special, then that means we're not special.
Yeah.
Like, that means that this just happens everywhere.
We are the only ones, like, oh.
Yeah. But
okay.
If we're not, yeah. If we are the only ones, I'm sorry, I would probably dip more into the simulation theory.
Yeah, that's just a little...
weird.
Yeah,
because Elon Musk, or... actually, no. I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about how we're carbon-based life forms, which I'm not scientific at all. I don't really know what that means. But we're carbon-based life forms, and carbon...
Wait, I've heard that phrase a lot. What does that mean?
I actually don't know. I actually just now realizing that I have no idea what that means.
Because we do produce carbon. Like when we breathe in and then you breathe out, you're producing carbon.
Yeah. I don't know. But supposedly carbon is the most prevalent... one of the most prevalent elements in the universe.
How do you feel about the theory that aliens are us from the future? Have you heard that?
I've heard that. I think that's a good theory.
I like that one a little bit more
I do too.
than, oh, they're from Zargon 7.
Yeah.
Like, I like that a little bit more. I think that's what Joe Rogan thinks. I think he's one of the main dudes.
Yeah. I also just think, like, if there are more of us, I feel like they would have. If there are more people in the more. If there was aliens close enough to do that, I feel like there would be friendly ones that would have already tried to make public contact.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I feel like they would have come down and be like, "We are aliens. We're from." Like, I feel like they would.
The only reason they wouldn't have contacted us is if they knew what we do already, and they were like, don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't. They're idiots.
Yeah. And I think that would only be somebody from the future.
Yeah. And I know that there's that theory that they're also from the future. I've also heard that they might, and this once again, this is just assuming that any UFO sighting ever, where they're like, oh, they flew like with like freaking sonic booms or whatever. Like, that's assuming that this is all real. But I've also heard that aliens could be from a different dimension, like a Earth 2 type scenario, or Earth 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however you want to do that. Which I gotta say, there's a lot of credibility lending to the fact that we are in a multi-dimensional universe. Somebody said this the other day, or they didn't say it, but I read it on Reddit where everything is true. But they were like, isn't it kind of weird that like there's so many movies and like there's entire like the DC and the Marvel universe, like with the comics, like heavily resting on the fact that like there's different Earths, like there's different dimensions.
Yeah.
Like, did they both think of that at the same time?
Well, actually, yeah, I think so. I think there was probably a craze of like somebody, probably whoever thought of the theory first.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why? I don't know. It just seems like a theory that we've played around with a lot, and a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, for sure.
Yeah, and also I've heard people, I think it might be the person you were talking about earlier, like time. I've heard that time isn't linear.
Yeah, I mean, once you get out of I've heard that like, space and time, like once you can achieve, see, that's the other thing though. When you bring this to somebody, they would be like, oh, interdimensional travel, like that's so ridiculous. That's like, how would they even do that? Okay, well, here's the other thing. If they don't have any, like, if they're flying around in things that don't even have any means of propulsion and are traveling from 8,000 feet to right above sea level in like the matter of seconds, that could be like their cruising speed. Like, we don't know that.
Yeah.
Like that could be how they're like, oh, I'm just gonna putt around on Earth, and that could just be how they move. They could it could literally be like how in Star Wars, when they're like they have the ship that just like cruises around, and then they're like, all right, prepare for light speed, prepare for a hyper jump.
Yeah.
And then they're like, boink, and then you go.
Yeah.
Like that could.
It could just be like a advanced technology.
Yeah, that we don't know about, that we might not have, or it could have been that. I don't know. We had it at one point and we lost it.
Yeah.
Got wiped out, something like that. I don't know. But I mean, that's definitely that's definitely not that far fetched. I mean, It sounds far fetched when you think about it, where it's like, oh, we're in a multidimensional universe.
I think if we're alone and there isn't a multidimensional universe and there isn't anything, I think it has to be a simulation, because I'm like, I think there's just too many weird things that have happened. There's just like, okay, what? Like, to me, with the multidimensional thing, you were talking about the Mandela effect.
Yeah, so that's something that I don't, that, to me, I know that there's a lot of other evidence. To me, the Mandela effect is probably the heaviest form of like, oh, this is evidence, because it involves so many people. So many people look at the. If you're not sure what we're talking about, by the way, the Mandela effect is that there are so many universes stacked on top of each other. Like universes all exist in a line. Like, here's Earth 1, here's Earth 10, in between is Earth 2 through 9. Occasionally, the paths that we're on will cross or intercede, and we'll get a little bit of the other Earths. Memory or something that happened there.
Yeah.
And that produces itself through the Mandela effect.
Which I don't think that's the running theory. The Mandela effect, I think, actually is like some kind of psychological theory. That's why it's called a Mandela effect.
No. That's the thing. The Earths aren't running together. We are running together.
No, I know that, but I don't think that's not like the actual definition of the Mandela effect. That's like the theory about the Mandela effect.
Here's some examples of the Mandela effect. This is still one of the weirdest ones to me, is that the whole Pikachu thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That he had like a black tail.
Yeah.
And now he just doesn't.
It's so weird.
And no one ever said like, oh yeah, we switched animation. Like, if you ask them, they'll be like, he never had a black tail, but he had a black tail. Don't lie to me. Like,
yeah.
That's definitely one that I think is weird. Here we go. Let's start with the reason why we're here. Nelson Mandela, who this theory is named after, died in 2013. However, countless people distinctly remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. But his death isn't the only example of the Mandela effect. We have been wrong about so many dates, details, and more. Keep going for more commonly misremembered moments in history. I don't remember this one. This is weird. Jiffy, not Jif. Or Jif, not Jif. Was Jiffy peanut butter a thing?
In a weird way, I actually do feel like
I do kind of remember that it was
longer.
Bigger.
Yeah, it wasn't just Jif. Wait, is it saying that Jiffy was never a thing?
Yeah, people swear that there was a Jiffy peanut butter back in the day, but we speculate they're combining Jif with its competitor Skippy. And
No, because Skippy looks completely different.
Blue.
Yeah,
It's like baby blue. Yeah,
and
Jiffy,
also has red letters.
yeah, Jiffy was never a thing.
Yeah. Whoa, that's weird.
That's a weird one. Oh, this one messes me up
Let me see.
so bad. Looney Tunes. I remember it being spelled Toons because it was a joke, because that's not how you would spell it. It was never spelled like that.
Wait.
Dude, I know for a fact. Do you know why I know for a fact that it once had OO in it?
Why would it be? Well, hold on. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would it be called Tunes like you listen to tunes? It's a cartoon. What?
Do you know why I remember it with the double O? There's an episode where Porky Pig puts his eyes up in the OO. He puts his eyes in the OO and goes, bleep, 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 that's all, folks. And then he pops up through the top. And he puts his eyes in the O's. I remember that dead on. Like,
wow.
Dead on. But if you go look up old Looney Tunes, it always has UNES.
Wow, weird. What else you got in there?
That's kind of a weird one. Oh, okay. Does Curious George have a tail?
I've heard this. Supposedly he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's kind of weird. I don't really
remember that well.
Okay, you know the very popular TV show is about 4 women that are, I think they're living in New York, but it's called Sex and the City.
Yeah.
It's Sex and the City. Not Sex
weird.
in the City.
Weird.
I remember it as in.
Yeah.
Let's see. These are so weird. What?
What you got? What you got?
Spell Febreze. Like, how do you think Febreze would be spelled?
Febreeze.
There's only one E. It's Febreze.
Oh, that's not weird because I guess it's just like a brand.
This one is weird because I don't remember. I do feel like I remember this, but there's not a T in the word Skechers. It's Skechers.
I remember it like that.
I remember it with a T.
Oh, weird.
That's weird. See, that's what I'm saying.
Weird.
Oh, Fruit Loops is spelt FROOTLOOPS. But a lot of people remember it being Fruit Loops, not Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I remember being the right one.
That's what's correct.
Yeah.
That's the right one. Oh, this is a weird, because I swear to God, this is it. You know the Monopoly Man?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this.
The monocle thing?
Yeah.
He doesn't have one.
So I actually think I know the answer to that.
It's because of the Mr. Peanut thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I swear he had a monocle. Like I said, it could
there also are a lot of old man cartoon things, like cartoon images, that have a top hat and that have a monocle.
Oh, okay. The Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia.
That is weird.
There was never a cornucopia. It's just the fruit.
That one I can almost 100% say that it's had the cornucopia. Like what?
Oh. Cheez-Its. There's not a Z at the end. It's just Cheez-It. I swear there's a Z at the end. I don't know, man. There's just like a lot of stuff that, and this is like the,
That's pretty weird.
I mean, there's just so much, like, it's like, Mona Lisa's smile, C-3PO's right leg is silver. He's not all gold. C-3PO's right leg from here down is silver. Like, that's actually what he looks like.
I don't know. They are weird. They are really weird.
And I don't know. There's like a lot of movie quotes that they miss. Like like from Forrest Gump when he said life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
The actual quote is life was like a box of chocolates.
That's just little things.
That I feel like is the Snow White thing where she goes mirror mirror on the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The sayings, like the saying something, that doesn't really shock me.
Those don't make me think as much as the ones that
are visual. I think the visual to me are different.
This one's a little bit weird. At the end of the Queen song, when he goes, "We are the champions," and then it goes, "Of the world."
Okay, well, you know why? Because a lot of these are disprovable. In the middle of the song, he does do that. And what's funny,
at the end it just fades out.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what's interesting is if any ad or if any football game, there's been edits where they use the middle of the song as the end of the song. So if you went to like a high school game and they played that song, they would end it at the middle and edit it to where it would seem like the end. So yeah, that's why they remember it like that. But what is oh my God, I just broke the mic.
Oh, nice. Good job. Sweet. Yeah.
Hey.
I like that.
I didn't break it. It just needs to go back in. What was something else? I think you said you had something else besides Mandela effect on your mind.
Okay, so it was just more evidence to support the multi-dimensional theory, and it was that they okay, this is gonna get weird and sciencey for a minute, so everybody calm down. But there is, with people who have had close encounters with aliens.
Okay.
And there's only like probably a handful, like maybe a dozen or so.
Yeah.
They've got a hold of some of them, and they've been able to do like, a lot of them lead very weird lives. Like they're very interesting. They're very like off the beaten path, like just very strange people in general. They did MRIs of some of these people who've had close contact with aliens.
Okay.
And they found in their brains there is this is so weird. They found that in their frontal lobe there was over 140% more white matter in their brains than a normal human. And now some people say, okay, well, what if that was there first? That's why they saw the alien, is because they have this like overproduction of white matter that's causing them to like see things or not be mentally.
Okay, what is a white matter?
So, like there's gray matter, right? Okay. Like you've heard that phrase before. Not a lot of people know what white matter is. White matter is a substance that's in your brain that supposedly, it's what connects us to our thought process, is able to connect to other people's thought process. So if you ever heard the phrase like, oh, we're just in tune with each other. Like when twins get born and like, I hate her. Like when twins, like people say that, like twins can read each other's minds. If you're a twin, you have an overproduction of white matter.
Is that like a thing?
Yeah. You have an overproduction of white matter in your head that is most of the time in the exact same shape, in the exact same place as your twin.
What?
So these people have an overproduction of white matter inside their head. And it wasn't there at the beginning because they said that one of the people they did a surgery on and they tested it, and it was that of a like 1-year-old. Like the consistency of it was like it was new.
Oh, interesting.
And it happened after their encounter. And what they're saying is that has something to do with being able to connect them to, this is insane, to their other person in a different dimension.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. That's...
Oh, hold on. How are they saying it got there, though?
That's the thing, they don't know, but it only happens after they have like a close encounter with an alien. And they're saying, what if they didn't have a close encounter with an alien? What if they had a close encounter with themselves from a different dimension?
Okay. But like, are you saying it would just spontaneously grow?
Yeah, it would develop itself.
Oh, the first thought I had was they got abducted and they did surgery and put it there.
Oh no, it would just happen because you have now come into an interaction with your exact self, which is what happens with twins, because they're not the same, but they're a lot alike.
Interesting.
And so that's the only thing that they can compare it to, is that it's like coming into contact with a twin that you didn't know you had.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's a little bit strange. It's a little bit iffy.
I'll have to look that up. That's like very interesting.
It's so strange. Also, there's like there's other forms of matter that like exist in the world. Like there's blue matter and red matter. And like
I knew nothing about this.
It's so the way that he talked about it sounded like he was talking about it like Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that's what it
but
sounds
he was like so strange.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. He was just. It was so weird, dude. There's so much of the stuff that we just don't understand. And I don't even want it. I'm not even one of the kind of people that's like, oh, I need this to be true. I want this.
Yeah.
I just want some answers. Like,
yeah. I want some answers as well.
I just want the government to be like, because also at this point, now I want to know, are they aliens? Because if they're not aliens, then what are they?
What are who?
Whatever we see in the air,
yeah,
like all the flying.
Like, are they from our future? Or are they from somewhere else?
Are they from a different dimension? Are they from a different planet? Honestly, the most reassuring thing is that they're from Mars. You know?
Yeah.
Like that's the most, like the thing that would make me not freak out the most.
I feel like we have already known if they're on Mars. Because here's another thing. Just right before we go, Mars rotates.
I thought you were going to talk about the moon thing.
No, I am.
Okay.
Mars rotates, and we've seen all sides of Mars. And it rotates to where we can see all sides of Mars. I think it is so weird.
We haven't seen.
You want to say it? The dark side of the moon. I thought that was just like a phrase. Like, I thought that was a phrase like, oh, at night, you can't see the dark side of the moon. You'll see the light side of the moon. That makes sense. Yeah, because we see the light side of the moon, the dark side of the moon.
It's reflected, right?
Yeah, but like, I thought it meant like that night. I thought like the dark side of the moon meant that night.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the moon perfectly rotates with perfectly orbits and perfectly rotates. So like our Earth orbits the sun and also rotates. Okay? So like there's times where we're not facing the sun, there are times where we are. The moon orbits us, but rotates to where the same side is always facing the Earth.
Yeah.
So literally, there's mock-ups, because there's mock-ups of like any mock-up that shows the other side of the moon is a fake one.
Yeah.
If you've seen a mock-up of our known sides of the moon, it's half, because we haven't seen the other. What does that even mean?
Also, the thing that you said about the moon is the perfect size in the sky, to where when we have an eclipse or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's perfectly the size.
It covers the sun
perfectly. Because it's
perfectly.
It's 400 times. I think the sun is 400 times, or it's a ratio of 400 to 1 or something. But it's perfect. Like, the size of the moon in the sky is the same exact size of the sun in the sky, even though the sun's farther away. That is the weirdest thing.
Also, the thing about I don't remember all of this. I know you remember it a lot better. But what was the thing where when they went to the moon, they like put something on it and it like hit it, or they shot a missile at it or something?
Oh yeah, and I mean, this is like, again, it's conspiracy just because I think the implications of what they're saying that it did is just weird. So they don't want to say that it's anything, but it literally means, okay, so first off, when they landed, which if you believe in that or not, they landed there, whatever. When they landed, they drilled, and they said at a certain point they couldn't drill anymore. They were like, yeah, we just, like, it's like metal. Like, we can't drill anymore. That's not that weird. But then they sent when they left, they sent the thing that helped them get there. I think like the jet
system?
Or whatever. They used that to not waste it. They used that and turned it into a missile, and and made it go really fast and hit the moon, and it rang like a bell for like an hour or something. Okay?
So that's kind of weird.
And that means that it's hollow. Like that's what that means. There's a lot of scientific things about how the vibrations, whatever, they came to the conclusion from that first one that it was hollow. So they're like, oh, that was obviously fake because it's not hollow. So they did another one with like an actual missile. Like this time it wasn't like just some like leftover debris. They thought that might be the problem. It wasn't like a designated missile. They sent a missile at it for the second time and it rang longer. And so since then, we haven't done it again. We haven't done it again because that
just seems like one of those situations where like you do something and you're like, that's weird, and then you try it again, and then like your boss calls you and it's like, hey, cut it out.
Yeah.
How about you shut up?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think that's a conspiracy. I don't think that we're trying to hide anything. That might just be like, okay, that's weird. Let's not even think about that. But also,
it's kind of weird because like just think about this for a second. Like, what is the moon? Why is the moon like? What is that?
Well, that's the other thing is the moon. There's a lot of theories. Like, there's civilizations and records of like there's tribes in Africa that talk about times before the moon that was in the sky.
Yeah.
There's certain civilizations that think that there was a time where the moon wasn't in the sky.
Yeah, we even did this when we looked up like the times the moon is mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's always, this is really weird, but it's always mentioned, the moon is mentioned consistently in the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
With being a blood moon.
Yeah.
That the moon is going to turn red and blood will pour out.
And that is like, there is certain times where there is a blood moon. But like they talk about it like there's one verse that says the moon, the flesh of the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
And they're saying like it'll like crack open.
Yeah. That's weird.
I don't know. That's strange.
Yeah. I think the moon's weird. Again, back to what you were saying, I just want answers. Like I just want like I'm not into conspiracies and stuff. I hate the people that are the conspiracy people that act like they know.
That's the other thing. I can't talk to conspiracy people because no one. You're probably the only one I can talk to about this stuff because we can just like sit here and talk about it and be like, yeah, it's crazy. And then if we find something out about like, oh, you're wrong about this, oh, you're wrong about this, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know that. But like most people, when you talk to them about this kind of
they're
thing,
like concrete on.
Yeah, they're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
you don't know.
I'm like, what? I'm like,
you're theorizing just as much as I am.
If you think you know everything. Like, there's so much information that's constantly coming out.
And changing, and we're constantly learning.
Yeah, dude, there were like a couple years ago, like, there was, like, everyone thought, like, dark chocolate was healthy. You remember that?
Yeah.
It turns out dark chocolate is healthier than milk chocolate, but it's not good for you, you morons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. There's just so much.
We used to put cocaine in Coke.
Yeah, we used to put cocaine in Coke. There are women that used to put, like, potato slices on your forehead if you had the flu.
Yeah.
So why would you think?
I just think that in like 100 years, we'll look back on what we did now and we'll just be like, oh my God.
Dude, think about people who, Brayden, when I was with my grandparents at the beach like months ago, I did Apple Pay on my phone. Like I tapped to pay on something at CVS. And my grandfather was like, what did you just do? And I was like, oh, it's like a, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, I think it's like a RFID chip? I was like, or something? I was like, I don't really know. I was like, but it like scans my face to make sure I am who I am. And then, honestly, this is the crazy thing. Once you start explaining what Apple Pay is, like how that works, it's like, oh, well, there's something in here that recognizes that my phone is ready to pay from my card. But first, it scans my face and makes sure that I am who this card belongs to. And then you just tap it. And I started explaining it, and I was like, that is kind of crazy that works.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But, like, that's the thing. He's, like, 63. And he was like, what? He was like, what is that?
Yeah,
so,
like it's advancing so quick.
Yeah, like, so fast. Like, so fast.
Yeah, I'm just ready to get some more answers on some stuff. I hate that we talk about this stuff like it's theory. Like, I just want to know. Like, I just want to know. Like, if it, in a weird way, like, even though I love being creative and I love thinking, I like to make sure that I'm thinking of fiction or nonfiction.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to crush my dreams if you're like, oh, yeah, we're alone. Or, oh, yeah, there's no multi-dimensions. For a fact, we've already, like, done like, I want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would just, like, I don't know. And also the whole, like, the whole thing that you were talking about, like that we're in like a simulation
Yeah.
or something. There's so much evidence to that as well, and if that's the case, then that's great. If this is like a Ready Player One type scenario where like when we die or something like that, then like we wake up and we're like, all right, time to reload into something else.
Yeah.
Like if that's what's happening right now,
great.
Cool, I guess, but let me freaking know.
Yeah.
Like the easiest thing, what would be great, what I would just hope for is that it's God and that we just get to chill in a golden palace forever.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fine. Unfortunately,
a lot of people disagree on what religion is.
A lot of people disagree on what heaven is. A lot of people disagree on which
how you
God
get there.
It is, how you get there, what you have to do to get there. Some people think that this way is right. Some people think that way is right. And some people think that there's literally a different version of us sitting in a room right now with a VR headset, and that's what we're doing currently.
Yeah.
So
give us some answers.
What are we doing?
Oh, forget about it.
What are we doing?
All right, guys. I think that's this for this one. Tune in next time. All right.
See you guys.
See ya.